And this is a lunch and lounge commentary that I wanted to deliver. I don't always take lunch, but when I do, I try to find myself reading something or engaged, maybe put my headphones on and listen to a podcast. On this particular conversation that I would like to start with folks would be around the Fed's ability to create money that we know exists. Recently read a report that they pumped another $105 billion, not million, but $1 billion into the market. A lot more was bid on by the banks. And essentially it is government-backed assets. Stands out to me because personally, you know how invested I am with this whole ADOS movement and some of the talking points that we have been given that we wouldn't be able to afford reparations. The claim is that it is owed and that the federal government was complicit in it. And the rebuttal is that why would we ask the federal government, those who are complicit for it, which is the only way to provide redress for the grievance. So here on that report that I read, I found it interesting that the banks are still able to leverage that creation of capital from these assets. And many of those assets now, much of that money now will just be redistributed. We know how the banks work. They'll take it and then they'll lend it out, even though they've received it at low, almost seemingly negative interest rates. They can lend it out at the average lending rate, sometimes 16, sometimes 26%. And so I would love to get some thoughts and some feedback on that. Let that jumpstart the conversation for folks. Sorry, let me get in my light. There we go. Jumpstart the conversation. See what people think as that of that federal treasury and the ability to create $105 billion when they need to off of government-backed assets. Is that a good rebuttal point to those who say we would not be able to afford, or our government would not be able to afford reparations? Let me know what you think. You can put your comments there in the comment section. Be sure to like and subscribe. Share this with somebody who you feel is already engaged in the conversation and could use some facts. Fact is, when they want to create some money, they definitely can create some money, and the banks are definitely going to continue to consume it, as well as those foreign investors or whatever their initiatives are, whether it's lending or real estate. They are able to create that money seemingly out of thin air. It is owed, is always my position. And there is really no excuse. But in order for us to continue to have an effective conversation, we have to know which talking points we can use to counter some of that narrative that's currently out there in the market. So, peace. This is Brother Moses on my Lunch and Learn commentary.